Hey guys, welcome to Inspiration for Your Life. I know it is September 1st, but this is actually the August 31st show. We'll get kicking into that in just a second. Do check out believemeachieve.com. More of my amazing, inspiring creations. All right, guys, it's so great to have you with me here tonight or this morning. Let's kick the show off, shall we? All right. So, our master topic for the whole weekend always sets the stage with the first topic of the show: finding motivation in everyday people who are local heroes. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about this week because we're going to get very deep with this. This week, we're going to get into, first of all, the whole definition I want to share with you first is, what is a hero according to Merriam-Webster? What is a hero? So, according to Merriam-Webster, a hero has a couple different definitions. One, it's a mythological or legendary figure, often of divine descent, endowed with great strength or ability, an illustrious warrior, a person admired for achievements and noble qualities, one who shows great courage. And I think that's a very, very important thing that you need to understand is that one who shows courage. Very, very important. And we're going to be talking about heroes all week, right? There are things called superheroes. You might have heard of superheroes before. So what's a superhero? So superhero is a noun. It's a fictional hero having extraordinary superhuman powers. Exceptionally skilled or successful person is also called a superhero. But what are some other types of heroes? Well, we're going to get into this week, right? The illustrious warriors, a principal character in literary or dramatic work, usually specifically of a principal male character, especially when contrasted to be where we're going to be. So I think that's important. And I think it's important that people understand what's happening. And I think the most important thing that a lot of people don't get is when we do things in life, it's about, what means something. And I think the most important thing it's going to be, I think a lot of times people don't quite get it, right? Right? They don't get why things are a certain way. And I think the other interesting thing about, when we think about heroes is we don't understand what it means. So this whole week, we're going to be talking about, local change heroes. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk what these are. Each night, we're going to actually dissect one of these. Another night this week, we're going to talk about unsung heroes of history, right? Something that I think a lot of people don't quite get all the time. And I think it's important to understand that when we know what a hero is, sometimes we put a false identity on what a hero is because, we think that it should be a certain way, but the media sometimes portrays someone as a hero, but really they're not. And that's a very, very big problem for a lot of people. We're going to talk about everyday acts of kindness, which a lot of times come from heroes, but they can come from other people. Role models in non-traditional fields. I mean, we always talk about role models from and I think it's understanding that when people are able to realize that a non-traditional, let's say, titled person can be a hero. We're going to dive into that. Don't worry. We're going to get all into that whole stuff. You might be asking, John, why are we talking about heroes? I think the biggest reason we're talking about heroes is because people sometimes have a false belief of what a hero is in their life, right? They don't quite understand what a hero is, but they think they know what a hero is, right? They think. So they get false information from people that may or may not be in alignment with who they are as a person. All right. So when we think about heroes, you probably think about, Superman or other people on TV that you've seen or in comic books, right? That's what happens when we see hero. And so the question you might be asking is, so why do we want to be a hero? Well, a hero boosts your credibility. Okay. Um, when we think about heroes in general, heroes give us hope. Heroes energize us. They develop us. They nurture us. They heal us. They impart wisdom to us. They're role models for morality. They are here for our safety and our protection. They give us positive emotions, right? Heroes give us meaning and purpose in life. Heroes provide social connection and reduce loneliness. Heroes help individuals achieve personal goals, or what I like to say promises, but they call it goals in the book. And heroes help society achieve societal goals or promises. So, thinking about this, I think a lot of people don't quite understand like what something means. And I know that can be confusing, but we're going to, break apart all this, I promise you. So, we're going to talk about the heroic journey of caregivers. That's a thankless job. Because some people don't treat them well. Some people do treat them well, but some people don't. So I think these are important things to understand that we need to realize, in our lives. And so as we understand that, what a hero is, why do we place this title calling this person a hero? Why? Because the media says, because a friend says, because a third party says, right? Those are the reasons. But what we're going to find out is that these reasons they don't really get us to go a certain way. They get us to change our belief for a moment. And then we're like, wait a minute, I'm going down this other pathway, but wait, why am I doing this? And then that causes us to get what I call the reality wake up syndrome, which is a good thing. But sometimes we get the wake ups like, well, wait a minute, I'm already halfway through this, or I'm like 90% through this. Like, wait a minute, I gotta back up. Well, how do I back up? Right. So we're gonna get into that. Don't worry. We're also going to talk about community resilience during a crisis, right? And if you had to ask me, John, what is a crisis? Well, it's a time of intense difficulty, trouble, or danger. You can have a mental health crisis. There can be lots of crises. There can be financial crisis. It can be health crises, relationship crises, property crises. There's lots of crises out there. But again, I've told you this before. It's not if they're going to happen, but how we choose to respond that makes things so. I think that is the most important thing for us to realize. So I picked hero because, I like to pick things that I believe are going to help us become better versions of themselves. You guys know that's why I live every day, to become a better version of myself and help others become better versions of themselves. That's the reason why I live every single day. And you might be saying, well, John, this doesn't make a lot of sense. But sometimes things don't make sense externally, but they make sense internally. All right. That's an important thing. And I think if we start to embrace the concept of the fact of what a hero is, and we don't put extra worship on that hero. We acknowledge them for what they are, he or she is, and we celebrate that, but we don't raise them up on a pedestal. The whole goal about a hero, like, let's talk about like heroes. So let's say, so what is a sports hero, for example? That's a big one that I know we hear a lot about. So Americans look to sporting heroes to be models of courage, discipline, strong character, and success, and they want their families to grow up like that person. What makes a sports hero? They're iconic figures in the world. They embody great aspects of athletics: teamwork, sacrifice, commitment, sportsmanship, hard work. And this is what makes them worthy of respect and admiration. that they have earned. Now, remember, a hero earns his or her title. They don't just get their title. Okay. A hero in general is a person who's admired for having done something very brave or having achieved something great, right? Like if somebody helps, somebody who was in trouble and they get him out of a burning building and they were a good Samaritan, like that is a good hero bystander, right? That's not what they're supposed to do, but I think it's something that they may understand. It's something that they may not understand. So I think these are things that a lot of people, they kind of hammer and they haw about. And so when I say they hammer and haw about, I think the biggest thing I can tell you is that life changes for some people, right? It changes for some people because they think it's supposed to be one way. But what we realize when we go deeper in there, right, that it's something that actually is pretty amazing. And by amazing, I mean that we assign new characteristics to that particular trend. Okay. And the characteristics we assign to a person comes from something very, very interesting. I say this to you because people have to understand, what's going on, why things are going on a certain way, like, why. And I think the why comes down to the fact that people just need to understand what's going on in life and they need to embrace like what's happening. And the what's happening is not a hard thing to understand, but it's for us to make a deduction. Remember, life for us is all about perceptions, right? Everything in our world is perceptions. But our perceptions, ladies and gentlemen, they create reality. They create reality. That's pretty mind-blowing, if you ask me. All right, and the last thing we're going to talk about this week is young advocates and change makers. So heroes are change makers in the very, let's say, basic sense. We're going to dive into all the things a hero is. We're going to talk about all these different categories I just talked to you about, like, what is a local change maker? We're going to talk about unsung heroes of history. We're going to go through everyday acts of kindness. A lot of times they get attributed to a hero, making them a hero, a heroic journey of caregivers, and the community resilience during a crisis. And then lastly, we're going to go over youth advocates and change makers. So this is very important, ladies and gentlemen. And I think the media does a very bad job. Being a media person, this hits my heart, because what happens is you do something because you think it's the way, but then it might not be the best way. Does that make sense to everyone? I think it does. And if it makes sense, then maybe we can understand things, just a little bit better. Okay. Maybe a little bit better. Maybe not a lot better, but maybe just a little bit better. But when we decide to make somebody a hero, we look at how their life has been modeled, how they've changed, how they've done certain things. And I think this is something that a lot of people don't really get, that, your life is about the choices you make. So when people think about what is a hero to them, they sometimes get torn between the truth and what the media and propaganda have tried to, I'm going to use the word, basically program us to believe. So the media, put stories out there, but the stories they put out there, I got to tell you, being in the media now 7.5 years and being a member of international press, they get this way because of one reason. Do you know what that reason is? That reason is the fact that life is changing. And the media thinks that they can just, strum this whole thing up and they can just go from there, right? But the problem is that they don't necessarily know where to go or how to go. So the media just kind of just creates some ramp, if you will, some shortcut to something that may not even be relevant. It's like if I told you 2 + 2 is 4. So when we think about, let's say, geometry, now you may like it, you might hate it. So there are theorems. So when a theorem is given, you have to make a proof. So a theorem is basically you can use already proven theorems as part of your proof, right? Like we know that a squared plus b squared equals c squared, so I can use that as part of my proof. But what a lot of people don't understand is that when we don't have something that we can go back on, we have to go prove it. Well, the media doesn't do that. It's like, well, we think the sky is green, so we're going to say it's green, and millions of people are going to believe us, and maybe a few people aren't because, hey, we're the media. But the media is not always right. This is what I want to share with you guys. So we got a lot to talk about this week. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night or morning. And I'm going to catch you guys when? Well, tomorrow, which will be the first of the month. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been a privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you this fantastic evening and through the morning of September 1st. I hope you'll like, love, and support my channel. Definitely comment below, tag your friends, colleagues, and associates, share this out with everyone you know on social media, and of course, like and love all my great content. I'll be so grateful for that. And I'll catch you guys on another show, all right?